All right, Gary, listen, you're calling in a different capacity here this morning, though, as a citizen of the village of Sylvan Beach.
Yes, that's correct.
Are you bothered? I can't believe they're getting rid of the lifeguards.
Well, back when I was young, I would say maybe preteen, 12, 13 years old, there was a drowning behind what was then Foles. And it was, there obviously sparks the liability debate, and that was when they decided to put in lifeguards. Yeah. And there was a moment then where they looked, and maybe there in fact was a summer when there wasn't swimming allowed. It was a long time ago. But that's when the lifeguards started. I understand that. But I do, my status that's getting shared like crazy was a little bit inflammatory. I was obviously upset because I lived here my whole life. But the point being that the village's hands are tied as far as being able to do this. This is coming from the county, from everything that I see.
Yeah.
And that's either they have to man the entire beach or they have to take the lifeguards out.
And I think that has been mandated on the county by the state. So now, but what would
I get?
Yeah.
What my issue is that the Sylvan Beach is run is all small businesses. And it's been the same small businesses for a long time are the ones that are holding on. They've been hurt by paid parking. They've been hurt by the economy. I mean, back in the day, they were hurt by the drinking age. I mean, the blows that we've taken to the nightlife industry. So when there's an article that comes out weeks ago saying Sylvan Beach closing and swim at your own risk was the best scenario, which, in my opinion, I actually do think is the best scenario. And I'll explain why in a minute. My gripe was that the mayor didn't jump to the highest place he could find and start screaming, listen, we're closing 1/40th of the beachfront. Yeah. Everything else is still open. He's being cautious for insurance purposes. I don't know.
I think he is. Yeah,
but when it comes down to it, there's the only section of the beach is closing is behind the Castros, and the thought being is that there were lifeguards there last year, and for the next several years, people can walk in and say, "Oh, I thought my kids were fine there because there were lifeguards there last year."
Right. Yeah.
So they're going for complete hands off, no liability, and I understand that. So if they want to close the area, that's fine. And people are kind of going after the Castro, saying that he has something to do with it, and he has nothing to benefit from that. People are saying he wants the water clean for bridal photos, but the thing is once that's not a swimming area anymore, there's going to be pontoon boats pulled right up to the shore, and that's not a boating area. So nobody's gaining anything off this, including the administration. So it's just really trying to make sure that people understand that it's business as usual for,
I think that there's an insurance issue. There's no doubt there's an insurance issue.
Absolutely.
And because I don't think, because the rest of the beach, other than this small section, is swim at your own risk.
Yes.
So
it has been
been that way. And they're saying, quietly, you can still swim there, but at your own risk. But we don't want to do it at Foles because people have become accustomed to having lifeguards. What would it take, though? I would have loved to have been able to have this hit the media with, here's what we're facing. It's going to cost us this amount of money to put lifeguards through the entire beach. What would that cost?
It would be astronomical. Just the fees, just the time to put the chairs in for the DPW, and they're already strapped.
Yeah.
And that's something people are saying. The beach is going to hack and this and that. And, our DPW does a great job. They rake the beach every morning. If you ever go there on a Sunday morning after a crazy fireworks weekend, or after any weekend,
it's clean.
It's spotless. They do a great job. So they're strapped as it is. As a taxpayer, none of us want to be paying more for that. But, to man the lifeguards, not to mention that you'd have to staff all of them. Yeah. And if it rains on a day, you got to send 40 people home. You got to try to find 40 people
think about
barely part-time employment.
Last week they had that dangerous algae, or last year, and they had to close the beach for like 30, 40 days. It was a disaster. So
that's another thing. And this is a massive thing. Is now that we're not allowing swimming, we don't have to rely on the algae tests. And the problem is the algae tests take a very, very long time to come back. So we were closed for a month. Yep. Sometimes, not waiting for a single result, but collectively, you said 30, 40 days.
Sure.
Well, most of the time we were waiting for results. This way, we can go back to the way that it was for my entire childhood, your entire childhood, is that you can tell when Sylvan Beach is turning its stuff up, and it's painfully obvious.
Yep.
And you can go in there if you want to, but you shouldn't. And even if you do, I've been in the village for 20 years. I've seen one person with a couple red spots in their feet.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's we hope parents and people still use caution, but it's not. This is better for the beach. It's actually going to allow the other headline that we kept seeing last year: Sylvan Beach closed.
Right.
And
it Sylvan Beach was never closed. The swimming was a problem, but the beach was never closed. All right, interesting.
And we're arm wrestling with Doug Waterbury with all the things he's been dealing with legally with the Midway. I mean, we're just fighting tooth and nail to keep the village, and everyone else is doing such a great job in making the village have a good front and have a good presence. But really, we just need to keep the word out. And I will say there's a couple agencies that have been less than responsible, and when they're posting the story of the beach closing, posted a terrible blue-green algae picture from last year.
Yeah.
So I want to appreciate you guys for helping to get the proper word out.
All right, Gary, as always, we appreciate it. And listen, great weekend for Sylvan Beach. Sunshine, mid to upper 70s.
I'll see you guys on the beach.
All right,
yeah,
thanks,
and
man.
come into studio soon and play.
Where are you? Where are you this weekend? Anywhere?
I'm in Sylvan Beach Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but unfortunately they're all private shows. So,
okay, all right.
I can get you on the list. If you want.
We'll sneak in. Okay.
Take care, guys. We'll talk to you very soon.
Gary Johnson, great musician locally. Want to wrap? You want to comment
just
on
quick? Not being able to swim is going to hurt businesses, won't it? I'm less
so.
likely to
You're
take my son there.
Here's the thing: you can still swim. What they're saying to you indirectly is you can still swim throughout the rest of the beach that says swimming at your own risk. But for insurance purposes, they don't want to go to the tallest building and shout that out, the municipality. That's really what's going on.
Okay.
So you can still swim out there. What I think Gary's bothered by is the story is saying you can't swim at Sylvan Beach anymore, and he's saying that's not true. And he's correct. That's not true.